Welcome to Chapter 5. You've built a support system that traces every interaction, groups conversations into sessions, manages prompts through a version-controlled repository, and attaches quality scores to traces. This chapter covers the complete evaluation lifecycle: building datasets, running experiments, setting up automated evaluators, and using human annotation to establish ground truth. Before we dive in, make sure you've run the code from previous chapters so there are traces and prompt data in your project. The features in this chapter operate on existing data. Let's understand how the evaluation pieces fit together. The cycle has 4 stages. First, datasets contain your test cases, the inputs your system should handle, along with expected outputs when applicable. Second, experiments run your system against every item in a dataset with a chosen prompt and record what it produces. Third, evaluators automatically score those outputs using an approach called LLM-as-a-Judge, where a secondary model grades your system's responses. And fourth, annotations add human judgment to calibrate those automated evaluators and establish what good actually means. This cycle repeats continuously. As your system encounters new scenarios in production, you add them to your datasets, rerun experiments, and keep improving. Let's start by creating our first dataset. Navigate to Improvement, then Datasets, and click New Dataset. We'll name this one Customer Support General and give it a description. Test cases for general customer support inquiries. Click Create Dataset. A dataset is a collection of test cases. Each item has 3 components: an input, what you send to the model, an optional expected output, what you want the model to produce, and metadata for organization and filtering. Let's add an item manually. Click New Item. For the input, we'll provide a JSON object with a customer question, subscription tier, and account status. The question is, how long does it take to process a refund to my bank account from a premium verified customer? For the expected output, we define what a good response should contain. The answer about processing times, a flag indicating it mentions verification, and a tone marker set to helpful. In the metadata, we tag this as a refund question with easy difficulty, and its source is manual. Click Save. You now have your first test case. In practice, you wouldn't add items one by one like this. You can upload a CSV file when creating a dataset, map the columns to the input, expected output, and metadata fields, and items are created automatically. You can also create datasets and items programmatically through the SDK, which is useful when you want to generate test cases from existing data or integrate dataset creation into your development workflow. There's one more way to populate datasets that's particularly valuable: adding items directly from production traces. If you navigate to Observability, open any trace, you'll see an Add to Dataset option. This lets you take a real interaction, a customer question and the system's response, and turn it into a test case. This creates a feedback loop where production issues become test cases that prevent future regressions. Now, before we move on, there are actually 2 types of datasets you'll work with. What we just created is a test dataset used for broad exploration and iteration. The other type is a golden dataset. A golden dataset is a smaller, curated collection of high-quality examples with carefully validated expected outputs that you don't change frequently. Think of it as your stable benchmark. You run your golden dataset before every deployment to make sure you haven't regressed. While test datasets are updated often as you discover new edge cases, golden datasets are rarely modified. Changes require domain expert approval. You'd typically build a golden dataset by taking your best-performing test cases, having experts validate each expected output, and removing any ambiguous cases. The key takeaway is, test datasets help you explore. Golden datasets tell you if you've broken something. We'll reference this distinction again when we discuss deployment workflows. Now that we have test cases, let's see how our system performs against them. An experiment runs your AI system against every item in a dataset and records the outputs. Think of it as a controlled test. You take a fixed set of inputs, run them through a specific configuration, a particular prompt version, model, and parameter set, and capture exactly what the system produced. Click New Experiment, then Create. Give it a name. Claude-Sonnet-Baseline-V1 and a description. Baseline run with Claude Sonnet 4. Select the prompt your LLM is going to use, your provider and model using the router key we configured on Chapter 1, and click Create to start the run. The platform processes each dataset item, sends it through your configured model and records the output. Switch to the Runs tab to see your experiment results. At the top, you'll see charts tracking latency and average model cost across runs. Below that, the table shows your run with the number of items processed, average latency, average cost, and evaluation scores, which will populate once we set up evaluators. Click into the run to see the detail view. For every dataset item, you can see the input that was sent, the output your system produced, and the expected output side by side. This lets you quickly scan for items where the actual response diverged from what you expected. The real power of experiments is comparison. Run a second experiment with a different configuration, maybe a different model or a modified prompt, and then click Compare on the Runs tab. Select both runs and you'll see them side by side, item by item, with their respective outputs and scores. This makes it immediately obvious where one configuration outperformed another. Maybe one model handles emotional situations better, but the other is more concise. Use this data to make informed decisions about which changes to ship. So far, we've been comparing experiment outputs manually. That works for a handful of items, but when you have hundreds or thousands of test cases, you need automated scoring. This is where evaluators come in. Let's navigate to Improvement, then Evaluators. Since this is a fresh project, the screen is empty. No evaluators have been configured yet. Let's click Create Evaluator to get started. The first thing we'll do is set the default model in the top right. This is the model that will act as the judge, the one scoring our outputs. For this tutorial, we're selecting OpenAI GPT-4 through the interactive router. Below that, we have two options. An interactive AI managed evaluator, which are pre-built evaluators maintained by the platform, or a custom evaluator that we build ourselves. Let's open the Managed Evaluator dropdown. We can see options like hallucination, answer relevance, helpfulness, relevance, and toxicity, among others. We'll select helpfulness. Click Next. Now we configure the run. The score name is pre-filled as helpfulness. That's what will appear on our traces. Under Evaluator Runs On, we'll select Existing Traces, since we want to evaluate the experiment outputs we just generated. Under Target Data, we switch to Experiment Runs. This connects the evaluator directly to our baseline experiment results rather than live production traffic. Then we set a target filter. We filter by dataset and select Customer Support General, so the evaluator only runs on the items from our dataset experiment. Scrolling down to Variable Mapping. This is where we tell the evaluator which fields in our data correspond to the variables in its prompt. We'll leave the default mapping as is and click Execute. The evaluator's view now shows our run. We can see the score name, when it was created, its status, which moves to finished quickly for a small dataset, and a Logs button. Let's click Open under Logs to see the full execution log. Every item that was evaluated, the score it received, and the reasoning the judge model provided for that score. Something worth noting here. Every LLM-as-a-Judge execution is itself a trace. We get complete visibility into what the judge model was asked, how it reasoned, and how many tokens it consumed. The same observability we have for our main application applies to our evaluation layer too. Now let's click on the Evaluator Library tab. This is where all available evaluators live, organized by maintainer. InteractiveAI provides its own managed set: helpfulness, relevance, correctness, hallucination, toxicity, conciseness, and more. We also have evaluators from Ragas, a well-known open-source evaluation framework covering dimensions like faithfulness, goal accuracy, and context relevance. Let's click on Helpfulness to inspect it. We can see the exact prompt it uses, the scoring criteria, and example inputs and outputs. This transparency matters. We're not working with a black box. We can read precisely what the judge is being asked to assess and decide whether it fits our use case before running it. For comprehensive coverage of our support system, we'd set up several evaluators: helpfulness for quality, relevance to check the response actually addresses the question, toxicity to catch inappropriate language, and correctness when we have expected outputs to compare against. Each runs independently and attaches its own score to our traces, which we can view in the Scores tab of any trace or analyze in aggregate under Observability, then Scores. The out-of-the-box evaluators cover common dimensions, but your customer support system has specific requirements that generic evaluators can't capture. Custom evaluators let you define your own evaluation criteria using the same LLM-as-a-Judge approach. Let's create a CSAT predictor, an evaluator that estimates how satisfied a customer would be with the response. In the evaluator library, click Setup Evaluator. Name it CSAT Predictor. You can toggle the model selection to use the default evaluation model or choose a specific one. A custom evaluator has 3 prompt components. The score reasoning prompt tells the judge model how to think through its assessment. For our CSAT predictor, we instruct it to evaluate across multiple dimensions: resolution, clarity, empathy, efficiency, and professionalism. The score range prompt defines the scoring scale, 0 to 1, with clear descriptions for each range. And the evaluation prompt is the main prompt where you define exactly what to assess. Here, we provide the customer's query using the double curly brace variable syntax, the system's response as another variable, and detailed instructions for evaluating each quality dimension. Click Save. Your custom evaluator now appears in the library with User as the maintainer, distinguishing it from the platform-maintained evaluators. Running your custom evaluator follows the same process we just walked through. Go to Running Evaluators, set it up, configure target data and filters, map your variables, and execute. The difference is that now the judge model uses your domain-specific criteria instead of generic ones. Automated evaluators scale, but how do you know they're accurate? Human annotation establishes the ground truth you use to calibrate your LLM judges. The idea is straightforward. Have humans grade a sample of responses, then compare those grades to what your automated evaluators produce. Where they diverge, you adjust the evaluator prompts until they align. Before creating annotations, you need score configs. These are schema definitions that standardize how your team evaluates outputs. They ensure everyone uses the same scale, making scores comparable and reliable. Navigate to Settings, then Score Configs, and click Add New. Let's create 3 configs. First, a numeric config called Helpfulness Manual, a scale from 1 to 5 measuring how helpful the response was. Second, a categorical config called Response Quality with 4 levels: poor, acceptable, good, and excellent. And third, a Boolean config called Policy Compliance Check, a simple yes or no for whether the response complies with company policies. One important note: score configs cannot be edited after creation. This is intentional. It preserves data integrity so that scores recorded today mean the same thing as scores recorded months from now. If a config is no longer needed, you can archive it, which removes it from selection lists but keeps existing scores intact. Now let's set up an annotation queue to organize the review process. Navigate to Improvement, then Annotations, and click New Queue. Name it Weekly-Quality-Review. Select which score configs annotators will use. We'll select all 3 we just created. Save the queue. To populate the queue, go to Observability, then Traces. Use filters to narrow down to the subset you want reviewed. For example, filter by the Support tag. Select traces using the checkboxes, Click the Actions drop-down and choose Add to Annotation Queue. Select your weekly quality review queue. You don't need to add every trace. A representative sample is enough. Aim for a mix of random traces, traces with low automated scores, and traces involving new or unusual question types. Back in the Annotations view, open your queue and click Process Queue. You'll enter the annotation interface, which shows each item alongside the scoring panel. There are two view modes. The focused view shows the input, output, and metadata in a simplified layout, perfect for rapid review when the context is clear. The detailed view displays the full trace with the execution graph, latency, cost, and all nested observations. Use this when you need complete context to make a judgment. For each item, review the customer's question and the system's response, then enter scores in the Annotate panel. Rate helpfulness on the 1 to 5 scale, select the response quality category, check the policy compliance box, and optionally add a comment explaining your reasoning. Click Complete and Next to save and move to the next item. The queue tracks completion status and shows who completed each item, giving you visibility into annotation progress. Scores from annotations appear alongside all other scores in the platform. Go to Observability, then Scores, and use the source filter to isolate different types. You'll see annotation for human reviews, Eval for automated evaluators, and API for scores created through the SDK, like the ones we set up in Chapter 3. All three sources appear in the same place, giving you a unified view of quality across manual and automated assessments. The real value of annotation emerges when you compare human scores to automated ones. This calibration process ensures your automated evaluation reflects what humans actually value, and it's something you should revisit periodically as your system evolves. Let's recap what we've built in this chapter. We created datasets to hold our test cases, with the understanding that test datasets drive exploration, while golden datasets serve as stable benchmarks. We ran experiments to capture our system's outputs against those test cases and compared different configurations side by side. We set up out-of-the-box evaluators for automated scoring using LLM-as-a-Judge and created a custom CSAT predictor for domain-specific evaluation. And we established human annotation with score configs, queues, and a structured review process that gives us the ground truth to keep our automated evaluators honest.